Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, bringing you guys an update to my Prediction Princess deck profile. It's been about 2 years since I first profiled this deck, so definitely time for an update to the deck. And we just got new support in Darkwing Blast, which was overall pretty darn good, helping to up the tempo of the deck and just sort of help it to get the resources that it needs, along with getting like newer stuff like Diviner, which I never updated the deck once we got Diviner of the Herald. So this is also going to be a budget deck profile because stuff like Diviner and some of the other cards in this deck have all gotten reprints. So as long as you guys play this at like the lowest rarity or the cheapest rarity, overall this is a pretty budget deck. You can easily put this together for under $100 and take it to locals and do fairly well. So if you guys are new to the channel, definitely go ahead and subscribe if you guys haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And let's get on into the profile. So we have 2 copies of our main boss monster, the Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. This card is just super duper good for the deck because during the end phase, you're able to, during your end phase, you're able to special summon a flip monster from your hand or graveyard onto the field. So you definitely want to make sure that you have your graveyard or your hand set up for this. So we're playing just a good array of flip effect monsters and kind of just playing a little bit of graveyard setup in the deck, which is nice. Along with this card, you're able to, once per turn during either player's turn, flip a monster face up or face down. So kind of like an on the field Book of Moon, but also just kind of nice to be able to flip your flip effect monsters face up. That way you can get effects off on your own. Then we have our new monster, the Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. This card is overall fairly good, but I feel like it could have been a little bit better. But with this card, once per turn, you're able to basically flip all monsters that you control, flip any number of your face-down monsters face up or face down. So it's, in a way, almost kind of like the Ghost Trick Scare, just kind of being able to flip all of your stuff up at once, which is really cool. And also with the new Ritual spell, you're able to flip, to set this card as you Ritual summon it. And then this card does have a flip effect, which is overall really nice because you can special summon another flip effect monster from your deck in face-down defense position. So you can basically do that, set something face down, and then use its own effect to flip your whole board face up. And then you're able to then get off whatever the flip effect is that you just set. Overall, pretty good. Then moving on into 2 copies of Incantation Chalice Slime. We are running an Incantation engine in here, so we will get to the rest of those later. But overall, he's pretty nice to be able to just sort of reveal him and then get whatever Incantation you need. And then we are playing 1 copy of Cyber Angel Ben 10. It looks kind of weird to probably play 1 because it now is at 3 and people are pretty hyped about that. But you really just need the 1 in here because you can't combo as hard as if you were playing Drytrons. And you don't want to play Drytrons with this deck because with Drytron, they lock you out of special summoning monsters that can be normal summoned or set. So overall, like you want to have just the 1 Benton in here. If you can search it ever or you have it in your hand and you can pitch it, tribute it, then you can get a nice fairy search off, which our boss monster is a light fairy. And then we are playing a couple extras in the main deck. For the rest of the Prediction Princess monsters, we're playing 2 of the new Bibliomuse. This card is just overall a house for the deck. Has a super good flip effect to basically, it's almost like a pre-prep of rights to be able to get you a Prediction Princess. Generally, you're going to be going for the Ritual monsters, and then also it's going to allow you to search for a Ritual spell. Also, it has a permanent effect while on the field that your opponent cannot target Ritual monsters that you control with card effects, and they can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, so overall also really good. And then also if this card gets tributed, you're able to just special summon it back to the field in face-down defense. So if you use this for your Ritual summons, you just get to set it, and then you get a free flip effect monster on the field. So overall, that's just kind of like your opening play that you want to try to do. Then we have 1 copy of the Koinorma, which is really sad that this is the only other Prediction Princess in here. It's just that this card kind of power crept the rest of them, because there was like the level 5 and the 4 that could search you a spell or a monster, but this card can just kind of do both of them all at once. So that is going to do it for the Prediction Princess cards. Then getting on into the incantations, 2 copies of Talismandra. You really don't need more because otherwise you'll end up getting cloggy hands. 2 copies of the Candle, and then 1 copy of the Pencil Plume and 1 of the Bookstone. So the Pencil Plume and Talismandra search you. This is going to get you a Ritual monster from deck when it's special summoned from the deck, and Pencil Plume is going to get you a Ritual monster from the graveyard, and then Bookstone gets you a spell from the graveyard. Candle gets you a spell from the deck. So overall, these cards are just super duper nice to be able to utilize in the deck to be able to get those cards. Generally, you don't really need to get like your spells and stuff back from the graveyard, but it is kind of nice. And Pencil Plume isn't really as needed anymore either because The new ritual spell can special summon from the graveyard. However, you just want these extra names in here because you want to have, like, you want to draw into Pencil Plume and then use Pencil Plume to special Talismandra and then use, like, Bookstone to special summon Candle if you ever can. That's kind of like the nicer way to do it. Then one copy of Pot of the Forbidden. This card is just so good in the deck because it basically has 4 just amazing effects. When you flip it, you're able to activate one effect, which is either to draw 2 cards, return all spell and trap cards on the field to the hand, so basically a giant Trunade, or destroy all monsters that your opponent controls, or look at your opponent's hand and shuffle 1 card back into the deck. Just a really awesome, really amazing card. Then we're playing some really cool Floodgate monsters. 1 Guard Dog and 1 Whirlwind Weasel. I never ever thought I would ever use these cards, but they are seeing play, and overall they are really fun to use. Because with these cards, when this card is flipped, your opponent cannot special summon, and then with the Whirlwind Weasel, your opponent cannot activate spell and trap cards for the rest of the turn. So overall, these are just really nice Floodgates. I wanted to originally, in my original build, I had Vanity's Ruler in the deck to be able to search off of like Ben 10, but I took that out because Guard Dog is just a little bit nicer. He's a little less searchable, but overall, as long as you get him in your hand or your graveyard, Guard Dog is going to be able to put in some work. So for our main Cyber Angel Ben 10 searcher, we have Diviner of the Herald, and vice versa. Diviner can search for Ben 10 after you send away your Herald of the Arclight. And then 1 copy of Artifact Lancia. I just tossed this in because there is still a lot of banishing going on in the format. This deck would struggle pretty hard against anything like... oh my gosh, Floowandereeze and stuff. So having the Lancia in the deck is kind of nice just to be able to work around some of like the banishing effects that are going on nowadays. And it's searchable by Ben 10, so just why not have another Floodgate? But that is kind of a flex spot in the deck if you guys don't like that. Then 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Generally in my budget deck profiles, I at least like to put 1 hand trap in there. Then we're getting on into the spell cards. We have the new Underworld Ritual of Prediction. This is the new ritual spell card that lets you special summon from hand or graveyard, kind of like the Meteonis Drytron for the Drytron deck, being able to special summon the ritual monsters from grave, which is really cool. Really like that. Then we have our 2 copies of Prediction Ritual. You still want to play this to be able to summon out our main boss monster, because this is the only one that's going to, or this is the card that's going to only allow you to summon the Tarot Tray, but the Underworld Ritual of Prediction is going to allow you to summon the Tarot Traith. So overall, you just kind of want to have like a good general array of them to have a little bit of variation. Then we have our Incantation Inception, just to be able to work around with our Incantation cards. Overall, this card is just another nice search target as well. Then we have our 3 copies of Pre-Prep of Rites to be able to search for our Prediction Ritual. This card is just busted if you ever get it off. And you definitely need to play those kind of like top-end cards, because this deck can brick a little bit and it can be a little bit slow, so you need to play these cards that are going to get you into as much gas as possible. Then 2 copies of Prep of Rites, just to be able to search stuff like Ben 10 or be able to get a ritual spell back to your hand is kind of cool. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This is a new add-in, which I'm not really seeing in a whole lot of other decks. But overall, Foolish Burial is super nice in here because you can do stuff like, if you really want that Guard Dog, like I said, you want the graveyard setup, so you can just send stuff like Guard Dog to the graveyard, and then your Tarot Tray is going to be able to special summon him back from the graveyard, which is really nice. Or if you want to just get more monsters, you could send your Koinorma right away, send Koinorma, and then when this card gets flipped, then you're able to special summon any of your other flip effect guys that are level 3 or higher, so overall really cool. Then we have 1 copy of Called by the Grave, and then 1 copy of Pot of Desires. Like I said, you just need a little bit of gas for this deck. There are a lot of 1-ofs and stuff, but overall just drawing 2 cards, even though you're going to banish a couple cards, you might even banish some really important cards, but Pot of Desires is just really crucial to be able to draw into like your Ash Blossoms, some of your other Floodgates and stuff, because overall the Tarot Tray just does absolutely nothing if you, it's just a Book of Moon if you don't have a flip effect monster in hand or grave. And so if you basically open up like with like the Incantations and the Tarot Tray, then you're never going to get into a flip effect monster, so you need Pot of Desires in there, just a 1-of, to be able to get into some extra cards. And then we have our 3 copies of Junk Sleep. I got to give credit where credit is due. This was a suggestion by Kira Twig in his deck profile, and this card is super duper nice for the deck. Just being able to flip stuff down and up during like Turns when your opponent normal or special summons, you're able to change all face-down defense monsters to face-up attack position, so you can get off even more flip effects, and then during the end phase, everything gets put back face down. So that's just overall really, really good, and that's going to do it for the 40 card deck. We are going to now get on into the extra deck, and the extra deck is not super duper needed for the deck, but we are playing 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight just for our diviners, and then along with 2 copies of Elder Entity Natis. These cards are just really nice for being able to pop stuff. 1 copy of Cross Sheep, because the ritual effect on here is just too good. Whenever you ritual summon to a zone that it points to, you're able to draw 2 cards, which is just super nice. 1 copy of Geonator Transverser, 1 copy of IP Masquerena, and then for targets we have Nightmare Unicorn. We also have Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. Now this card did just get reprinted in the Mama set, Magnificent Mavens. So if you guys don't have this card, if it's still a little bit too expensive for you guys can just switch that out to whatever like rank or Link 3, Link 2, or Link 4 you guys want for the deck. 1 copy of Appaloosa, 1 Underworld Goddess, because we don't have a lot of great effects for getting rid of like our other like opponents' unbeatable boss monsters, like anything like a Towers. So having Underworld Goddess in here is just super duper nice to be able to get around those big booties. Then we have the new Mereologic Aggregator. This card is just so crazy. Overall, it's kind of nice because it's like another copy of Diviner, because when this card is XZ summoned, you're able to send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So let's say that you're in a scenario where like you ended your previous board with like the Tarot Tray, and then you basically just have like the Ritual of Prediction, and you have like another Tarot Tray or the Tarot Traith in your hand, and then basically all you can do during your turn is to ritual summon again, bring out another Tarot Tray, but you're not really able to do too much else. Then you can still at least go for the XZ summon, and then go for pitch the Elder Entity Natis from your extra deck, and then you're able to get an extra pop, just something like that. The situations can come up, so he is just another nice option. Overall, the extra deck in here is pretty fluid. You're going to be you're going to get locked in with the incantations as well a lot, so you're not going to be going into the extra deck quite as often. So overall, like, you guys can just sort of fuddle around with however you like the extra deck. But we have 1 copy of Sacred Beast Hyperion, 1 copy of Phantom Fortress, and then 1 copy of AA Zeus, just because he is another nice option for all of these XZ monsters. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the new Prediction Princess deck profile. Let me know what you guys thought. I think that this was a pretty fun deck to pick back up. It's still maybe a little bit mid, but I think that eventually this deck is really going to pop off if they give it some more new support. It's been a while since this deck has gotten supported, so it was nice for Konami to give them a little bit of stuff in Darkwing Blast. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and we'll see you guys for the next profile. Peace.